Hello, I'm Dan Petrenko, and welcome to the very first UMCA Public Speaking Symposium. In our fall semester, I had the privilege of teaching a grade 11 and 12 course in public speaking and persuasion. In the class, students participated in debates, presented speeches, learned to negotiate and to interview, and heard from an array of interesting guest speakers. Students participated in discussions on theories of persuasion and the art of rhetoric that they later were able to apply to their own writing and their own speaking. For their final project, students were asked to submit a keynote address that will be featured in a virtual conference. They wrote and delivered speeches on a variety of topics, on issues that they are interested in and passionate about. So, without further ado, sit back and enjoy some of the speeches submitted for the showcase.
Hello, my name is Yegor Zaitsev. Before we get into today's topic, I would like you guys to do something for me. Close your eyes and imagine your dream life. Perhaps it's you driving in your brand new Ferrari, zooming past the palm trees in Miami. Or maybe it's you in your brand new tent in the Rocky Mountains enjoying the incredible view. Or maybe it's something simple. You in Jamaica in a resort, listening to the waves crash along the shore. Okay, now open up your eyes. I think I can speak for all of us when I say most of us have very ambitious dreams. And sometimes they may even be a little bit scary to think of. Now, what if I told you guys that only a mere 8% of people actually achieve their dreams according to a survey? I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's an extremely low number. Now, what if I told you that you guys can achieve this by implementing what I like to call the law of attraction? For those of you who don't know what this is, the law of attraction is the law or idea that positive or negative emotions or thoughts lead to positive or negative experiences in a person's life. Before we dive deeper into this topic, let me tell you guys a little backstory about me. When I was younger, I grew up in Canada, and growing up I played lots of sports, and that led me to develop very ambitious and competitive characteristics. And I had this desire to be the greatest in everything that I do, whether it was soccer, whether it was academics, or even seeing how many groceries I could carry from my car into my house. I always wanted to be the best. And these characteristics led me to think that sometimes I wouldn't be the best because I would go through failures, and if I would fail at something, I would think, maybe I'm not successful, I'll never be successful, or maybe I'm not good enough. And these negative thoughts impacted me. And this is where the law of attraction came in before I even was familiarized with the concept. These negative thoughts and always putting myself down and led me to a very negative life. And I had developed social anxiety and I had very low confidence. And that fire that was once inside of me, it was gone. It was put out. So in March 2020 is when my life turned around. I thought, no more. I'm done being a victim to life. I'm gonna face my problems head on and not look back. So I thought to myself, what is something that successful people do? Voila, they read. So that's what I did. I went online, I searched up self-improvement books, best self-improvement books, and that's where I found the book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So this is where I was first familiarized with the concept, the law of attraction. As I was reading this book, there was one quote that stuck with me. You are the master of your destiny. You have the power to control your environment around you. You are the master of your destiny. Take that in for a second. So I thought to myself, it shouldn't be that hard. Thinking positive things about myself for once shouldn't be that bad. So that's what I did. I started to think positively. I started to meditate. I started to be aware of my thoughts, and whenever I'd have a negative thought, I would quickly dismiss it and think something positive about myself. And this is where my life took a turn. At that time, when I first started implementing the law of attraction, I was jobless. I had zero sources of income, nearly $0 to my name, and most importantly, I didn't have a purpose in life. Now I can say that after implementing the law of attraction, only a couple of months later, I already have 2 jobs, I have over 5 streams of income, a purpose in life to make people happy, and I myself am now extremely happy. Now, I don't want to make it sound like a fairy tale. Every teenager, just like me, has insecurities. However, in a matter of months, I did things I could never even think of doing at my age. And that is what's most important to me. Now, I don't want to talk too much about myself. Let me show you guys how you can implement the law of attraction into your life. So, first what you can do is write down a couple of things that you want to get better at. For example, if it's academic, you can write, I'm the best student in my class. Or if it's related to sports, you can say, I have the best skills on my soccer team or basketball team. Now, what's important is that you write down something that is not true yet. That's the key. And according to the law of attraction, as you speak things into the universe, they will be spoken into existence. So you have your list, and then every morning, recite it 3 times. And then as you speak it, watch as your life these things start to become true. You're gonna become the best student in your class, or you're gonna have the best skills on your team. Now, you just have to give it time and stay disciplined and stay in control of that. The second thing that I extremely recommend is to start meditating. What this teaches you is discipline, and it teaches you to be mindful of your thoughts. So if you were to have a negative thought, for example, with meditation, you would be able to recognize and think, I'm not what my thoughts say I am. They do not define me. And with this, you're going to become a more positive person, and this will just make your life more positive. Last but not least, I recommend that you start to do good deeds for other people. Now, I know this sounds generic, but karma is a real thing. And I am a firm believer in the fact that you should treat others the way you want to be treated yourself. So just be nice to other people, do good things for them out of the kindness of your heart, and one compliment can go a long way. You don't know if you're talking to the next Elon Musk. So these are just a few of the things that are mentioned in the book Think and Go Rich. And if you are really dedicated and actually interested in bettering your life and you want to implement the law of attraction, I suggest you go read this book, do the tips that I recommended to you, figure out some more tips, and just do whatever fits according to your lifestyle. And if you stay dedicated, disciplined, and do the things I told you, your results are going to be supernatural.
Hi, my name is Emily, and today I will be talking about Rubik's Cubes and forming connections with people. Now, when I say connections, I don't mean the deep emotional connections we have in our lives, like relationship or friendships. What I'm talking about is the initial connections, the impressions we have of people when we first meet them, that give us a glimpse into their personality and what they might be like in real life. So first, let me tell you about how I got into cubing. This was about 5 years ago, still in Israel. I was in 7th grade when I first saw it. A beautiful, shiny, bright-colored, original 3x3 Rubik's Cube. My classmate Yaron, this blonde, chubby kid, brought it to class to show it off to his friends. But unfortunately, he was just way too loud, and the teacher confiscated it. She put it on her table and she forgot about it. When everyone left the classroom, I took it. Now, for the record, I do not condone stealing, but this happened to go very smoothly. Yaron didn't think about this cube ever again, and he never asked for it. And I was enjoying it. So I kept it. And foolishly, one day, I decided to bring it to class along with me. And there he was. And he asked me to hold it and take a look. And so I did. But I was sweating like a pig. I was thinking, that is it. I am over. He's gonna tell everyone I'm a thief. But all he did was just look at it, and then he just gave it back to me and he said, "That's cool." He didn't even recognize it. Even though it has this small mark on the orange middle piece, he just didn't recognize it. So I kept the cube, like I said, and I never stole since. But somehow after this whole shenanigan, I was determined to learn how to solve it. So I downloaded this English booklet from the internet. I barely understood it. I tried to solve it over and over and over and again, and for weeks, until one day, when I least expected it, I finally did it. And I was so proud. Then my parents told me they decided we're going to move to Canada. If I didn't know much English before, I would have to learn it now. And a few months later, I was here in my new home in Thornhill, going into a brand new school. The only thing by my side in my loneliest moments was my precious little Rubik's Cube. And when I came to class, no one was really interested in talking to me. This was grade 8. Everybody knew each other, and everyone had their own friends. I was very lonely, and I was very, very awkward. I didn't really know how to approach others, or even introduce myself. Once I decided to bring my cube to class. Immediately, people approached me and started asking me questions. They were excited and they were intrigued, and I was just pleased to get to talk to anyone. I taught some kids some tricks and made some friends along the way. The cube saved me from solitude and expanded my friend circle. So why am I telling you all this? Because the truth is, Rubik's Cubes are only a small part of my message here today. What I want to tell you is to pick a small project, something that interests you, and really excel in it. It could be anything from card tricks to Morse code to learning a musical instrument, like how to create music with spoons. Because as much as humans are complex and different, there's one thing that is similar at our core, and that's curiosity. Those skills you learn are the ones that will allow you to create a public image and attract others. And as morbid as it really is, throughout the different stages of our lives, people will come and go. But what will stay is our knowledge. When you show off your skills or talents, you invoke curiosity in others, without the need for any small talks or even an official introduction. Just like me, if you find yourself in an uncomfortable or problematic social situation, you will have your collection of tricks to display. Having that knowledge and being able to show it portrays confidence, ambition, intelligence, and commitment. By simply solving a Rubik's Cube in front of a stranger's eyes, you manage to impress them and also show them your positive qualities. And if that sounds like manipulation to you, then maybe you're just missing the point, because all those impressions are true. It did take all those qualities for you to learn the skill, no matter what talent it is. The time and effort you put into it prove that you are confident, you are ambitious, you're committed, and maybe even you might be intelligent. So I urge you to go find that skill, that talent, master it, make it look as impressive as it truly, truly is, and show it to the world. Not only will that help you with others, it will also help you with your understanding and appreciation of yourself. And maybe like me, you'll find a new favorite hobby that will travel with you for the rest of your life. Thank you.
There's something that is rather pleasant and therapeutic in watching the uninterrupted and fluid manner in which ink flows from the tip of the pen onto paper, the graceful and supple hands of a master that capture the flow of the ink perfectly, leaving behind a beautiful, sophisticated, and refined trail of letters, giving meaning to the previously disordered particles of ink. Not only is writing an art, but also a crucial skill that develops very critical parts of a child's brain. Hello, my name is Alex Gormov, and today I'll be discussing the importance of cursive handwriting and its unparalleled importance in the education system. During writing, one needs to focus not only on penmanship, but also the grammar and syntax of the text that is being written. Handwriting, especially cursive handwriting, is important to teach syntax and proper grammatical structure, which in turn enhances an individual's comprehension of reading material. I have personally attempted to teach myself cursive, and after learning of its potential benefits to my brain development, I noticed that after years of typing, I found it difficult to properly spell, arrange, and compose words into sentences and coherent compositions. After teaching myself the nuances of cursive and gradually forcing myself to handwrite more, I noticed that my punctuation, syntax, morphology, and various other aspects related to literacy have drastically improved. I was able to comprehend reading material on a much more faster and more dynamic level, widening my opportunities for comprehending more complex text. Writing gives birth to an entire sequence of interrelated processes that directly correlate with the ability of reading comprehension. In today's increasingly digital world, children are being constantly exposed at increasingly younger ages to digital devices. These devices are also utilized in many school systems around the world, constantly being used for remote and in-class learning. At the same time, many school systems are gradually terminating education related to cursive handwriting and are no longer mandating kids to learn how to write in cursive. Unfortunately, the rather blunt changes in the objectives of the education system are headed towards the elimination of writing altogether, subsequently shifting the emphasis instead on computer-oriented skills. Although this mandate seems rather justified by today's ever-changing world, schools are inadvertently changing the neurological development of children for the worse. This is a wake-up call as to how quickly the elimination of the nuances of language can quickly erode and be lost in the current generation and the generations to come. Relying solely on a keyboard and software for proper grammar, syntax, and morphology during long typing sessions swiftly instills a dependence on computer-generated correction. More and more students are relying on the autocorrect of various softwares to enhance their grammar, syntax, and are thus neglecting the vital processes of writing that help to develop proper language skills. Unfortunately, this also impacts a student's ability to comprehend, learn, and remember reading material. Almost a decade ago, researchers James Lohr and Laura Engelhard used MRI neuroimaging to scrutinize the effects of handwriting on the function of the brain development in young children. They found that not only that handwriting activates a unique reading circuit in the brain, these findings prove that handwriting is vital for the early development of letter processing of brain regions that are crucial to the comprehension of reading material. This demonstrates that handwriting may facilitate reading acquisition within young children. A more recent study using fMRI discovered that writing develops skills related to a set of conventions necessary for writing a language, which includes norms of spelling, hyphenization, capitalization, word breaks, emphasis, and punctuation. Handwriting is dying out just when there is technology to prove its unparalleled importance. Thus, I implore the education system to review the benefits of cursive handwriting and to resume its education before it's too late. Thank you.
On multiple occasions, I would arrive at the bus stop many minutes before the bus. I would wait patiently for its arrival, and every now and again, check Google Maps. Maps would reassure me that the bus would be here any minute now and that I should be on the lookout. I placed my phone into my pocket and waited. 1 minute passed, 2, 3, still no bus to be seen. I checked maps, and lo and behold, the bus had passed the stop. That could not be possible. I was here the whole time and didn't see a single bus. I call this phenomenon the ghost bus. Several weeks later, I arrived at the same stop to wait for the bus. Checked maps, got the time, and watched for the bus. The bus is due, and this time I actually see a bus. It drives closer and closer. I can finally make out what it says. Out of service. Why was I not told about this sooner? Why was I not told at all? These questions were running through my head for the next 20 freezing cold minutes at the bus stop. There is clearly a flaw in the system of bus communication to let such problems happen. Imagine if I was on a really tight schedule I could not afford to wait for the next bus, especially if it came in an hour. These types of mistakes can cost people their jobs or relationships. Using public transport instead of your car to get to work reduces pollution and you use less gas. Not only that, but using a bus over a car also means you don't have to worry about parking space. I'm sure most people use public transport at least once in their life because it turns out to be more convenient. Adding this feature could make them more likely to use it because they will be more sure of the position of the bus, and that means they won't be wasting time waiting for it at the stop. I understand that sending another bus to the same stop will take extra time and budget, but at least notifying anyone planning to use this route that the bus will be very delayed or cancelled is good enough. That is plenty to save many, many people's reputations. With this information, people can immediately start looking for alternate ways to get where they need to go without wasting any more time than they need to. Help us by signing this petition or maybe donating to this fund page. Let's solve this issue one route at a time.
Back in March, we all went on break not knowing we'd be stuck here for 10 months. We ended up with lots of time and no idea what to do with it. For someone who likes to keep busy and have an action-packed schedule, this new reality was quite difficult to adjust to. The first month, I didn't do much. I spent most of my time sleeping, eating, and watching movies. I'm glad that instead of moping around for too long and waiting for things to change, I changed them myself. I got a job online and took control of my time. I now know that these months were a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to work towards improvement. Today, I want to share some of the steps you can take to grow as an individual and why they are beneficial. Like most high schoolers, I used to go to sleep far past 1 and dread getting out of bed early in the morning. I would wake up and half the day would have already flown by. Before quarantine, it was very difficult to change my routine since I got home quite late because of my extracurricular activities. I also saw sleeping as something that disrupts productivity, which is why I slept so little. It takes time to form new habits and get into new routines, so I was stuck in a cycle that made me feel very tired and sluggish. In lockdown, I had finally gotten my time management under control. I'm someone that doesn't like planning every detail of the day, but I noticed that having a rough structure of what your day is going to look like helps increase productivity and decrease stress. Routines are also helpful for mental health. They help us adapt to change and keep us grounded despite the chaos that goes on around us. After the summer break, going back to school was much easier having managed my hours in the day. Honestly, I'm still working on planning my time, but I'm proud of myself of trying to make the most out of my day every day. Whether your goal is to work out in the morning, or eat more meals in the day, or just be more punctual, a healthy routine can help you achieve the habits you want to apply into your everyday life. Another way to grow is to learn something new or pick up a new hobby. Before lockdown, I didn't have much time for my hobbies. So during this time, I took the chance to partake in activities that I am very passionate about. I believe everyone should have a hobby that they love with a burning passion. They can serve as an outlet from everyday responsibilities and stresses. Back in middle school, I was an avid artist and I used to spend my time drawing in my sketchbook and painting on canvases. In lockdown, I got to revisit my love for art. I've forgotten how much I enjoy the process of drawing and painting. Now it is easier than ever to pick up new things, as there are so many types of media and information to learn from over the internet. One of the benefits that come with developing your skills online is that you can learn from experts all around the world, each with their own approaches, techniques, and methods. During quarantine, I decided to learn Spanish on my own. I got to use methods that worked best for me and hours that suited me. In a span of 6 months, I managed to get to a similar level of Spanish as with my French, which I have learned for over a decade in school. Learning doesn't have to be tedious. I didn't and never will spend hours translating text word for word and listening to lectures that go on for hours. The main way I learned Spanish was simply by watching TV shows and movies I would normally watch, but in Spanish. Think about something you're interested in or a subject you want to improve on and research it. It's always beneficial to feed your curiosity and expand your knowledge. In fact, every time you learn something new, your brain reorganizes itself, allowing it to make connections between neurons quicker. In simpler terms, something new can help you learn the next thing you learn faster. Learning a new hobby is an entertaining way to develop your memory and thought process. In quarantine, I discovered the joys of jewelry making, and I got a chance to create pieces I could not find in stores. In addition to the many benefits that come with learning a new skill or hobby, you can always turn it into a source of income. There will always be someone out there willing to give you money for a product or service that you offer, so it's a great way to start a side hustle that you excel in and enjoy. If you like doing something in your free time, why not make a profit from it too? In conclusion, I urge you to make an effort to acquire new knowledge and do so at your own pace. In these trying times, trying brand new activities not only benefit us, but serve as a method of escapism. Everyone has their own goals and ideas of success, but I know for a fact that anyone can benefit from expanding their horizons. Keeping busy helps reduce stress and bring some order to your life in the midst of chaos. The smallest step is still a step forward, so start climbing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin the speech about terrifying ongoing pandemic, I just want to take a moment to ask all of you who lives and stands on Canadian land. How long do you think you'll be able to survive hearing on the news how thousands of lives are taken every day? Just take a moment to think about what we could have done much better in the past. When first cases started rising back in March 2020. What could we have done when the cases automatically dropped at the end of August and then started rising with spikes again in the middle of September? As you know, our medical chief officer, David Williams, strongly recommended everyone to social distance and keep using masks anywhere in the public no matter what. Just for instance, in a mall where there are hundreds of people gathered close to each other when walking, just imagine you walking without social distancing among the others and wearing your mask just below your nose, and some infected man just passes by you. And whose fault is it? When a couple of days had passed, you start feeling a bit weird. Most common symptoms appear right away, like a headache, loss of taste, smell, flu, tiredness, dry cough. And this is actually the part where you get yourself to the hospital, or you come home and you self-isolate yourself from your family before medical staff arrives. Please tell me, who, what, why are the masks made? And for whom did Dr. Williams tell social distance restrictions to? It doesn't matter if you're outside and no one is around you, you should still wear a mask. Because no coronavirus can spread through the air. Let's just say I go for a run, and several meters away from me, some guy coughs or simply breathes in out. And through this process, we call the virus flies in the air and flows within the wind, which spreads in all directions. Social distancing is quite a simple rule to understand. It is made for preventing infections. Because you don't know if the person next to you is infected or not. As you know, in the middle of August, cases dropped slightly faster than before. Because most cafes, grocery stores, malls, restaurants were allowed to contain higher capacities of people inside. And if you just look right now at COVID-19 statistics, you may see that cases just octupled only in the last 3 months. And it's because people don't care about restrictions anymore. They're tired of keeping the masks on and social distancing all the time whenever they're out in the public. Lastly, in order to avoid and end this virus once and for all we need to do is to obey Dr. Williams' rules and that he expressed and take them very seriously. Then, and only then, everything will return to its original place. If you don't take the actions now, who will stop this for us? If you do your part of a job, we do ours. And we will all fight together. We will win against the novel coronavirus. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this speech helped you understand our current state in our pandemic. I know we're all struggling. It has almost been a year since we began quarantining. But, as I said before, statistics show that if we stop taking this seriously, this will not end faster and will not end well. Let's keep fighting and show the strength until it's safe again for us to return to our norm. Thank you.